Hello, everybody. I'm glad you made it back. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Mr. Paul. I'm an artist, an art teacher, and I'm here with the help of the Oklahoma City Arts Council, and we're here today to do another art project, and I'm glad you're here. I hope everybody had a good, safe Thanksgiving that just passed. It was a little bit weird for me because I wasn't with my family. It was just me and my wife, and usually we have our kids and everything around. So it was kind of it was kind of a drag for us. But I hope you had a much better Thanksgiving. Weather's, as you well know, the weather out there is slowly getting a little cooler, right? And I love this time of weather. And I hope you do too. Today we're going to do a really kind of simple project about names and people's initials. And we'll get more into that, a little bit later, what initials are and that kind of thing. You guys probably know already what that is. But we are going to be making a stand-up sign like this. This is a real simple idea, and everybody is going to be doing something like this for our art project. Again, it's simple, and it's going to, I think, be a lot of fun. I enjoyed doing this with myself a couple of days ago. Remember, art supplies, you're going to be needing construction paper, or cardstock. It has to be a little bit thicker than regular paper because these things are going to have to stand up, and if the paper's too thin, it's really wobbly, right? So it has to be construction paper or cardstock. Got to have a scissors, a pencil, and the trusty glue stick here. Always good to have a glue stick in your box of art supplies. You might want to get a marker. That's you'll see in a minute why, but you don't have to have a marker. But yeah, just a few simple things that you need art material-wise, and of course you got to bring your imagination to this project too. But anyway, let's get started on this project. Okay, first of all, let's talk about this whole project today is about names and where you get your names, right? How many of you out there are named for somebody in your family? There is a tradition in a lot of people's family, not everybody's family, but a tradition meaning something that the families kind of have always done. You know, it's part of the family way of like the first son that's born in a family is named for the father. So if your father's name is Richard, the first son would be Richard too. That's one way that parents get their names. I was named Paul because my father was at the university and he was taking a theology class or a Bible class, and he was studying St. Paul at the time, and he really liked the name, and so that's how my name came into being. That's why my name is Paul. Everybody kind of has a story about that. And I tell you what, if you don't have the story of where they got the name, why you were born, why you were named, ask your folks, ask your grandparents, find out, because there's usually a little bitty story behind that. It could be just something that the mother loved that name, and she always said that if she ever had a daughter, she was going to name her that. But there is a story behind every name of a child, right? And I think that's kind of interesting and kind of fun to find out what that is, what that history is, what that tradition is. And so that's one of the things I want you to think about. Another thing that I want you to think about before we really get into the project is I want you to choose your 3 initials. And what I mean by that, if you don't know that already, is I want you to take the first letter of your first name, the first letter of your second name, your middle name, and your third name, the first letter of your third name. So mine is PDM, Paul Daniel Medina. That is my full name. And so instead of having, at first I thought, well, we'll do this project and do everybody's first name. But, you know, there's going to be a few people out there that have the name Ed, E-D, that's just 2 letters. And there's going to be some of you that has like Cynthia or Esmeralda, you know, they had these huge names, and you're not going to be able to do it all on one little piece of paper like that. So I just decided, let's just do the initials, right? So I'm sure you guys know what the initials are of your name. You know, another thing too is I want to talk to you a little bit. I'm going to give you another word you might not know what it is. It's called lineage. And lineage in a family is not only, you know, are you a blood relative, right? But the lineage is what kind of family are you from? Where is your family from? Going back not just to your grandparents or your great-grandparents, but all the way back as far as you could go. In my family, the farthest I can go is the 15th century, which is a long time ago, right? And so that's kind of a cool thing to try to figure out where not just you are from, but where your family, your parents and your grandparents and your great-parents on both sides of your family. I find that so interesting. And I think, because guess what, guys? That's about you, where you came from. And I think that's kind of a cool thing to get that perspective of being able to, try to figure out who you are, where your family's from. I think it's also interesting that in some names are very, very easy to figure out where they're from. Like my last name is Medina, and it is considered a Spanish descent. My family on my father's side came from Spain. And so just by knowing the name, you have a little idea of where I'm from, right? There are a lot of names like that. People that are from Scotland and England and in France and in China. Their names tell you something about your family and where your family's from. Anyway, this is all kind of history kind of stuff, but keep in mind, this isn't history about that you read in your books at school. This is your history. And so the idea of being able to kind of, be an investigator and go in and try to find out more information about who you are and where your name comes from, I think it's something that, I don't know about you, but even as a young person like yourself, I was really kind of excited about that and kind of interested. Where did my family come from? Not just the country that they came from, but what they did. I know it's really weird, but the name Smith, which is a real common name, it originally, a smith was somebody that worked in a certain trade, like if you made horseshoes and shoed horses, put horseshoes on horses, you were considered a smith. or if you made metal pots and pans, you were a smith. If you made shoes, that family of smiths, they made shoes. And I don't know, I just think that was really kind of interesting. And I really think that if you just kind of give it a little thought, it could be a lot of fun to do in your own life. And so, anyway, while we're going to be doing this project, I want you to kind of think about stuff like that. I want you to think about it. And hey, and some of you out there right now, you may know all this. You may know about your family and everything. My wife, her family, her original last name was Parr, and her family dates back to British royalty. That Catherine Parr was one of King Henry VIII's wives, right? And so she thought that was kind of cool growing up, that she was from royalty, that kind of stuff. We haven't seen any money, so don't worry about that. But anyway, I just want you to think of it. This is a door that you could open up and really kind of once again become an investigator and go in and really try to find out something about your family's history, their legacy, their traditions. I don't know, it just gives you a better sense of who you are and who you come from. And so, once again, we're going to be taking a short break so I can get some more materials and stuff. But before I do that, I want you to make sure that you have your materials, thick paper, construction paper, cardstock paper, some glue sticks, scissors, pencil, maybe a marker. You may not need to use the marker, but I'll show you why in a minute. Let's go ahead and we're going to talk about your names a little bit more in this second half, but we're also going to gear up and I'm going to show you the easiest way to do this, okay? Okay, let's do it.